Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Danielle, the Happy Medium. Let me just get into the stream and see what you lot can see, and then we'll take it from there. I don't know what you can see until obviously. I hope you can hear me. I have been busy with the. Oh, there. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can. Oh, look. Oh, wait a minute. I lost it there for a minute. I'll go this way anyway. See how it goes. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up, everybody. Just bear with me while I just find the live stream, because I've just sort of lost it there for a moment. I hope everybody's well here on the channel anyway. I hope everybody's keeping okay. There we go. I should be able to see you now. There we go. Can you all hear me all right? I hope. I don't know what that red line. Oh, the red line. I don't know what that red line's about. I'll keep the arrow off it. It looks okay. Hi to everybody. I hope you can all hear me okay. And welcome to Danielle, the Happy Medium. For those who do not know me, I am Danielle. We have had some changes, as probably some of you can see. I've been busy with one thing and another. I've got the lighting a lot better, and we've got the camera a lot better. Hi. Thank you very much for joining. It's a pleasure to have you here. I hope you've got some questions. Angela's here as well. Hello, Angela. Thank you for coming along, and I hope you've got some questions. Thanks for the great Zoom class last night. It was amazing. So you did so well. So I'm very proud of you. This little chat thing up here, I'm not quite sure how that works yet, so I thought I would be watching YouTube videos, as you do. Oh, there, it's coming up. You can see each other. It's not right, I don't think, but I could always monetize that and look at that further down the line when people when I understand it more myself, but that's how it goes anyway. So, like I say, it's live Q&A, so I'm here to answer any of your questions in which that you may have. I'm also happy to use the board. I've got some new pens. Someone got some new pens today. So we've got plenty of pens and stuff in order. Do you have any loved one messages for, do you have any loved ones have messages for me and my family? All right, I don't, unfortunately, this isn't a channel for messages. It's a channel for mediumship or mediumship development, or wanting to know more about the spiritual world, or wanting to know more about the dynamics of the mechanics. Unfortunately, I don't really do messages on here. I stopped doing live messages a long time ago. Any friends have passed away. Unfortunately, I don't do messages here on the channel. Like I say, I haven't done anything like that for a long time. But I'm sure there's plenty other channels, or Facebook, I think. Not that I'm promoting Facebook here in any way. Or just lots and lots of them things. So I wish you the very best of luck, and I hope you get what you're looking for there. So hi to Life Beyond. Thanks for you being here, and it's always a pleasure to have you sort of join me, and hopefully you've got some questions, and you can certainly ask me anything you want. I'm happy to answer your questions, and mediumship kind of, it's all right, not a problem. It's okay. It's first time live with you. Well, maybe stick around, enjoy the channel, see what it has to offer. Certainly sort of you might learn something. I don't know. I can't guarantee it. Please do give this video a likes up. I would be really grateful to you in that respect. If you could share it to your local news feeds, or wherever it is that you want to share it with friends or whatever, by all means do so. Terry saying, hi Danielle, I hope you're well. I am, Terry. I'm really well, actually. Thank you very much. Helen's here. Hello, Helen. Long time no see. I hope you're keeping well, my darling. Yes, I am really well, Terry. I've been busy today. I was sitting earlier on today, and then, hello, my favourite mirror. Lillian. You're such a soft. It's a pleasure to have you, Lily. I hope you're keeping well out there in California. Not long now. I don't know if I should really be talking about this, but I've been watching that virus. It's a little unnerving. I've got to be honest with you on that one. I'm not sure that I need to go out and buy myself a face mask or what. Like, it's a little I'm not quite sure what's going on with that one, like. But yes, I'm really well. Like I said, I was sitting earlier on today. I was obviously training last night with the Zoom girls, and obviously I've been busy with selling some Zoom classes and stuff today for Pacific time. So we'll sort of get through the intros and stuff first. So I have 2 spaces left on the Pacific Standard Time. So that's 7 p.m. your time, Pacific time. And these are Zoom classes on the mechanics and also mediumship development. These are 2.5-hour classes. If you're interested in any of this, please do get in touch with us. I will put the email in the comments box, but it is running along the scroll bar as well. It's also in the description box down below. So if you want to get in touch with me and ask me any questions in regards to that, or you want to know a little bit more about what goes on in them, I'm happy enough to answer any of your questions. Then I have the Eastern Standard Time one, again at your time, so 7 p.m. till 9:30. I'm up at like 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning to accommodate you lovely folks abroad, but I'm certainly happy to do that. You know, I know how tough it is for you across the pond trying to get a hold of English mediums, so I'm quite happy to accommodate you in that capacity. Again, also that is all in the description box, or I'll put the email in the comment box for you there as well. Vicky Hills here, so happy to see you. Happy to see you too. Had to share your video with someone. Not a problem, Angela. Thank you very much for sharing. Like I said, please do like the video, share the video with your friends. It makes my life a lot easier. So I'm very grateful and thank you very much for, you know, sort of doing that for me. If you've got your questions, can't wait for Zoom class. Not long now, Lily, not long now at all. So if you want to start and head your questions in the comment box while I talk about the generals, by all means do so, and then I'll get to them in a little while. I do think the lighting's a lot better. I hope people are impressed by that. It took me ages to get it right, but I got it right. And obviously the condition of the video is a lot better. Now I've just got to get this comments box thing in the right place. And in little bits and pieces, I've got some little bits and pieces coming in. And then hopefully we can certainly take a look at that as well. So then obviously I wasn't, as many of you know, I'm due to leave the country, which is the UK, around about the first week in April, heading abroad to do lots of different work in the Lilydale, in Canada, and then also I go out onto Perth, and then into the Gold Coast, and then into New Zealand. So I've had a mentorship program going on online for about a year now, and I wasn't actually gonna redo another one, but there's lots of people asking me for it. So I launched a brand new mentorship program, which I'm going to be having to do when I'm obviously away working as well, which I don't mind, to be honest with you. There's only 6 spaces. I only do 6 people at a time for that reason, because I like to give my mentorship people as much information as possible. So 3 spaces have already gone. So there's only 3 spaces left. Again, if you're interested in that kind of training, or you're interested in taking a look at the Zoom classes on mechanics and mediumship development, by all means hit me up. I'll certainly walk you through it all, and we'll certainly take it from there. And thank you very much for your time as always, and thank you for coming along. It's always a pleasure. So Vicky's asking me, what advice would you give to somebody sitting in their first circle? My first advice to you, Vicky, would always be relax. Don't have any expectations. It's a big thing, I think, when we first go to any kind of development class, or we go to a circle, or we get a new teacher, or, you know, whatever it may be. Try not to have any expectations. Take it as it comes. Sort of allow it to do what it wants to do, because I tend to find, because we have so much expectation, if it doesn't quite happen for us the way in which we feel it should, we then feel disappointed either in the teacher or the circle or these types of things. In preparation, go with an open mind. Certainly have some of the basics in place if you go into a circle. So can I just clarify as well, Vicky Hall, is it a circle as in just an open circle, or are you talking about a development circle? So simplify it a bit more for me, and then I can give you a little extra on. But my advice to you, Vicky, would be, excuse me, I've got a bit of a itch there. Ultimately, my first one would be to have no expectations and go with an open mind. And, you know, another tip I can give you as well is pick up some of the circles. So have a look at some of them that are on, you know, your directory, whatever it may be, and look at a couple of them and see which one you're drawn to. And I know that from personal experience. I know from when I was first starting out in open circles. I did a few open circles when I first started my development. And I kept like looking at certain development. Right, I'll help you with that one then. So for me personally, so I'm just sort of help you. I hope this helps you a little bit. You know, the guy that worked with me, he sort of drew me to a particular one. I've been to a few before that, and it didn't really sit with me. And then I was just drawn instinctively to this particular place, this particular church, which was actually Seaham, which is where I actually got my first rostrum work. How strange. So I would certainly have a look at your directory. Certainly sort of look at the ones that are available, and then go to the one that you feel most drawn to, because more than likely the spirit world's either drawing you there, or there'll be something there that you can actually learn. With development circles, again, go with no expectations. The first thing I want to say to you in all with development classes is nobody's any better than anybody else, and you'll see people in them classes who are giving bigger messages or giving more evidence or whatever. Don't get too caught up in that. That would be another thing I would say to you. Learn that you're on that journey, you're taking your time. Don't rush the natural process, and it is, after all, a natural process. It's really important that you take your time with your development and learn, get them basics in place. It's fundamentally really, really important there for you. I would also make sure that you like I say, keep an open mind. I don't know if you're using crystals or cards or whatever. By all means, if the development circle allows them, take them. If not, try again to be as open-minded as possible and don't have any expectations on you or anything else. And I think that'll go very well for you. So I hope that's a little bit of a helping hand there. If it doesn't feel right, come away. That would be my answer. Don't stay somewhere that doesn't feel right, because ultimately what you'll do is you'll push and try to make that development circle work for you when it's not fitting for you. And that's why I say with the directory, look at the ones that you're drawn to and go there first and then try elsewhere. But always sort of go with an open mind would be my best advice to you, and no expectations. I hope that's been of some help to you there. So let me just say a couple of highs to everybody. So hi to Dell, who's here. Hi Dell, I hope you're well, sweetheart. I haven't seen you in a while, but I hope you're keeping well. Angela saying, yes, Angela, darling, you are down, sweetheart, yes. Kay saying, hi Kay, my darling. I look forward to seeing you over at the school. So let me talk a little bit about my School of Mediumship. So I have a school here in the northeast of England, first of its kind, which offers residential courses for 5 days, sometimes a week, depending on what kind of courses we are giving there. Some courses on development of mediumship. You're the best. No problem. Any other questions you have, Vicky, by all means, type them in the box. I'll certainly try and answer them for you. I can't guarantee anything, I promise you, but I'll do my very best. That's all I can do. So anyway, getting back to my lovely school of School of Mediumship. And yes, we already have sold quite a few places for some of the courses that are coming up in 2021. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, again, you can hit me up on the email address. I'll actually put in the comments box while I'm here waiting for a few of you to write me some questions. Hello, Carol. How are we? I hope you're well. I hope you're keeping okay. So that's the email address if anybody sort of wants to, hit me up and talk about the school or the Zoom classes or whatever it may be there. So yes, I'm very, very happy to hear what you've got to say. So hi to everybody, like I say, who's just joining. So put your questions in the comments box for me, folks. I don't know if you can see your names and stuff. Can you see that box? How's that box in the corner working? Can you see it all right? Or is it a bit small or a bit what? What do you think? Help a girl out. We'll have a drink of this tea. I'm probably northern girl, love a good cup of tea. Yeah, I'd be interested to know what you think of that top chat. Whether you can see it. For me personally, I can't see it too well. I would prefer it to be a bit bigger, but I don't know what you lot think. What do you lot think? It looks a bit, I don't know. I can see it, but I can't see it. Unless I maybe need glasses, like. I mean, I'm nearly 40, like, I could maybe do with some glasses these days. You can see it. Can you see the names okay and stuff, Vicky? I was getting loads of dreams last night. Okay, so what was in the dreams, Angela? Fill me in. Just waiting for you lot to comment in the box. Yes, perfect. Oh, well, then fair enough. If it looks okay and you can all see what's being said now, I'm quite happy to go with that. I'm quite certainly, quite happy to leave it as it is. Like I say, for me, it looks a bit blurry. Maybe, like I say, maybe I need my eyes testing. Maybe I need to see the spec. I am getting out of these days, you know what I mean? And I do sit a canny bit in front of screens and whatnot, so it could be that my eyes are sort of playing up a little bit, so I can take that. I'll take that on the chin. So, any questions you have for me here on the channel, can you sort of write them in the comment box for me? I would be very happy to answer them for you. If not, I can start off on a topic. Is there a topic in particular you would like me to talk about? Well, a boy again this time at the school looked like boarding school. Oh, okay, right. What about and what was to do it? So dreams, a lot of people talk to me about dreams, and I've got to be honest, I dream an awful lot, and more so when I tend to find it when I've got a lot on, or when my mind's sort of very, very busy, I'll dream quite a bit, or I've got a lot going on down here on the earth plane. Dreams, you've got to be careful with dreams because yes, some of it can be spirit based. Hiya Debs, I hope you're well and keeping okay. Some of it can be spirit based, and it can be influences, or it can be the spirit world sort of talking to us, but also it can be where the conscious mind hasn't quite quietened down enough, so it's bleeding over into the subconscious, or vice versa, the subconscious is bleeding over into the conscious mind, and that can then have a bit of an issue with us trying to differentiate between what's the spirit world and what is the conscious working world or the human world, if that makes sense. I always work off this interpretation. If I remember the dreams, it's not my spirit based. If I didn't remember them, it's not mine. Hello, Christine, darling. I hope you're well. Just keep going over it and say, just kept going over, saying it over and over again. All right. Do you know anybody who was at boarding school, Angela? You'll have to let us know. How's that voice sounding? Because I've been busy on here. I'm just going to turn it up a minute so let me have a listen. Oh, that mic's loads better. I'm so proud of me, Gideon. You did excited, because I learn stuff all the time. Nope, I'm good, thank you. I'm pleased to hear it. How's the spirit arc coming along? Is it doing all right? Let me know. But yeah, I'm dead chuffed for that mic and that. I was faffing on the other day for ages. I was sitting watching loads and loads of YouTube channels and that, and learning stuff because I don't know a great deal about YouTube. I've got to be honest with you on that one. I just sort of do it and it just sort of happens. It doesn't happen. I'm sort of that's the kind of girl I am actually, to be fair. But I thought I'm gonna have to do something about that sound and I'm gonna have to do something about that picture because it doesn't look right quite good. So I was sitting watching obviously these fellas who I don't know, they know what they're talking about. It took me ages to get it now, but I did get it. Honestly I'm quite proud of myself. Yes. I'm happy. I'm really happy with myself. Terry's saying yes. Right, if he's got some questions for me here, because it's about mediumship, and all I'm doing is talking loud the nonsense. Well, I'm not talking loud the nonsense, but I'm just talking bits and pieces. Okay, just watching what's going on on the phone because there's loads and loads of it. I'm gonna start with the topic. So let me use my Zoom class as an example for last night. So there was lots and lots of there was yes, brilliant. I've had two this week that people could take. Well done, Christine. Trust is building. You're getting confident. I like it. I do like it. Dan, can I ask you about a dream? I keep seeing a Native American Indian in my dream, and he hands me a piece pipe. Well, it looks like one. Do you know what I mean? So what does it mean to you? Because my interpretation of that dream would be very different to your interpretation of the dream. My advice to you would be, go away and ask. If it feels right and it's something that you don't feel afraid of, it could be meaning anything. And I don't like to sort of want to draw you down one line or draw you not down one line because it's not really my job as a woman who shares knowledge. It's more of it's learning for you to trust in yourself, to then trust in the spirit world, to trust in the fact that what you're saying is actually true, right, and accurate. So the best thing to do for you, Deb, is to sit and ask for this particular Native American Indian to step forward and to basically ask him who he is, and he will tell you who he is. If he keeps turning up and he keeps showing you and he keeps wanting to talk to you, then more than likely he's there for a good reason. It's then up to you as the medium, and this is where a lot of mediums get sort of very stuck. Your mediumship is yours. It always belongs to you. It doesn't belong to anybody else other than yourself. And what you have to understand is that the journey is your journey, and your journey is very, very different to mine. Does that make sense? So what I want to say to you is for me personally, you should sit and ask him to step forward, and then from there you will be able to gain more of an experience. You'll be able to gain more of your relationship with the spirit world. What lots and lots of people want to do, and I'm just using Debs as a sort of a reference here. They want to know more about sort of they want somebody to tell them that the answer's right. The ones who might tell them this, the ones who might tell them that. And that sometimes in life that's not the best way to build your relationship with the spirit world. You've got to trust in what you're being shown. So if you turn up in a dream, trust in that. Next time, ask him what does he want, or sit for the spirit world and ask him to come forward. Will get you that understanding of the journey, and it will trust in your ability to move forward along that spiritual path, if that's a path you choose to take. So I hope that helps you answer. I know it's not the answer you're looking for, Deb, but I hope it gives you encouragement and momentum to see if that was me, right? I'm just taking me personally. If that was me and that was happening, I would be sitting for the spirit world and I'll be wanting to know what was going on because I'm nosy by nature, right? I am. And as a medium, you haven't got to be nosy. You've got to be curious. Curious would be a better word. I don't really like the word nosy. It's got a bit of a gritty feel to it, and I'm not keen on that word. So let's use curious as a nicer word. And for me personally, I would be wanting to sit for the spirit world because I was more curious. I would be curious as to why this man was turning up. I'd be curious as to why he handed me this pipe. I would be asking the question, why are you doing that? I need to understand what it is you're doing here. Who are you to me? What is your purpose? And these are some of the questions you can ask these people and they'll give you to you. Hi to everybody who's just saying hi. I'm going to have a look and see what's going on. So I hope that helps you anyway out there, Deb, alright? Lily's saying the picture looks a bit blurry, the room looks at an angle and not straight up and down. Maybe change the angle of the camera a bit. Okay then. So oh look. It'll be a slight delay, Lily, alright, so just give me a minute. Vicky said, you read my mind. Your Zoom class is exactly what I want to learn more about. Well, the email account is there for you, Vicky, in the comment section, or it's running along the screen. If there is one for donating, if you want to donate to the channel, you may, of course. Helps with the the camera and the lighting and this type of thing, and it helps with new software. I mean, the software is not cheap. How's that, Lillian? Let me know how that is. So if you want to donate, by all means, it's entirely up to you. I don't mind one way nor the other. But yeah, by all means, hit me up, Vicky. We've got some spaces available. I don't know where you are in the world. Let me know. Dell saying, I'm not being able to send my mind to this profile, so I'm not sure what the change is. How do I find this out? Right. So I know Dell, and I know Dell, relatively well. And I know his mediumship kind of well as well. So what I would say to Dell is I know from personal experience or through interacting with him, he's got quite a bit going on the earth world at the moment. Now, lots of people will say that won't interfere with your connection. I agree, it will not stop your connection completely. But what it will do is it will sort of make your connection that little bit harder. The busier the conscious mind is, the harder it is for the spirit world to step forward. Now, because of this, yeah, well, so certainly get in touch with me, Vicky. I've got 2 spaces left on that side of the US so you would be Pacific Standard Time. So yeah, get in touch. I've got 2 spaces left, my darling. I think I've just been talking to you the day, Vicky, actually, through Facebook. Anyway, let me know in the comments box. So yes, with Dell, so I know Dell's got quite a lot going on personally. So when you have quite a lot going on personally, what will happen is the shift of the mind will still be there, but there will be like a sort of, no, it's not a, let me find the right word. There needs to be more momentum to get through the racket of your mind. When we're a lot more calm, we're a lot more peaceful, we're a lot more in a good place, it's easier for us to connect. The connection never goes away, Del. Also, monetarily make a look at how there may be fear sort of kicking in a bit there because you're not connected or because the connection is different. That could also be another thing. So there could be a couple of reasons here. Let me write these on the board for you, Del. So there's a couple of reasons for, I don't know if you can, let me just move the chair. So there could be a couple of reasons why the connection is failing. So one, you've got a busy mind as a medium. So the busy mind, busy medium, which will sort of have a bit of an issue there. It could also be there's been a change in your mediumship. Could be that now. And this is one that lots of people don't look at because as we constantly evolve as mediums and as we constantly develop, we are constantly changing our mediumship. And the reason your mediumship changes for is because you are learning all of the time. If your mediumship's not altering in some way or it's not changing in some capacity, you're not learning anything. So there could be that reason there as well. Also, Del, as well, it could be that there's fear starting to kick in because obviously your connection was once one way. I couldn't even think. You will automatically think that that's the way you need to connect. So what I would necessarily say to you there is take a look at one, are you connecting differently? Two, I know you've got a lot going on personally, so I would maybe watch and see if there's stuff on the personal world settles down. That will affect your connection in a little bit, not completely, but it will have a little bit of a detrimental effect. You could be, the spirit world could be changing your mediumship. I know you read and I know you do lots of different things in that capacity, and I know you're doing circles and whatnot. So it could be that they're changing your mediumship up. So it could be that you're looking where you're maybe predominantly clairvoyant, you're maybe looking to bring a bit of clairaudience in here, these types of things. Or it could be because your connection was one way, and they're changing it. There's a little bit of fear kicking in, which will stop your connection a little bit there as well, because the fear of you always being familiar of how you're connected, and then it's not feeling the same, and then you're questioning why is that happening, why is this, why is that, instead of allowing. That's what a lot of mediums don't do, allow. They're kind of looking to fix stuff. And me, if I know you well enough, Del, I've got to be honest, I think it's more to do with the fact that you've just got a lot going on down here at the moment, sweetheart. That's all I think it is. But yeah, what will happen is normally when the spirit world starts changing the mediumship, fear kicks in, and what mediums then do is either start looking for more development or start looking for this, looking for that, going like sort of out the parameters, instead of sort of allowing this change to happen, because the changes that go on or the things that happen with us overall mediumship and us as person are fundamentally really important. One, to develop the instrument, because the instrument's really important to develop, and also learning to develop your mediumship so that you can gain more experience, more knowledge, more understanding of the spiritual realms. So I hope that answers your question a little bit there for you, my darling. Hi to everybody. Yep. Yes, that's right. That's right, Vicky, my darling. So, yes, I thought I'd been talking to you today. I hope that helps you, Del. So, Lillian's saying that's better. One of the corners of the wall behind you, the reference, and you can see it as an angle. Well, thank you for you, and I'm really grateful. I hope you can see that board. I know the last time we did it, the other day, it wasn't too good. I don't think it has down to busy mind, and I need to be more peaceful with myself. Yeah, that's basically, you need to be more peaceful with yourself. So peaceful. If you're not peaceful in yourself, or your mind's not peaceful, then ultimately your mind's going to be busy, or you're going to be thinking about lots of different things, or you're just going to have a lot on your plate, if that makes sense. So I hope that helped you a little bit in some capacity. But yes, Vicky, I was talking to you today. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope, some people do get references from that, even if it's not so much even with Del's question. But I do know that there's lots of mediums who, when that connection's not quite there, the first thing they'll do is they'll go to the spirit world and go, what's wrong, what's happening here, why is this not like this, why is that not like that? And sometimes, hiya Donna, my darling, sometimes you've got to accept that you've got to check in with the instrument before you start bombing off to the spirit world. Check in with you as the instrument, see where you were, and see where you're sitting within you as the medium, as the instrument. Then from there, if there's nothing wrong with you, as in respective, so Del saying there's nothing wrong with him, right, so I'll go with that. Then my next bit would be, if there's nothing going on with the medium, the change in your mediumship, or the developing you in another way, and what's happening is because it's not what you're familiar to, this fear starting to kick in because you're used to connecting in one particular way. A good medium should be able to connect in on many multifaceted. I say this all the time in my development, so let me help you with this. Most mediums, or good mediums, are moving around that range, Claire, quite well. So let me just dry this off a little bit. So you all understand the Claire range. Let me just let this dry a minute. It takes a while, this whiteboard. I need something else in here. So there's clairvoyancy, as most of you know. There's clairaudience. There's clairsentience. There's clairempathy. These are just some of them. top of my mind. There's clay cognition. Now, sorry on my chameleons. These are just some of them. These are the two main clays. So you've got clairvoyancy, and then you've got clairaudience. So clairvoyancy is the ability to see the spirit world. Clairaudience is hear the spirit world. The rest of these are lower clays. Most mediums are starting on a clairvoyance link. Most of them. Some do start on a clairaudience, but the majority of us are starting on a clairvoyant link with mixtures of clairsentience, clairempathy, claircognilium, which is the knowing the spirit world's there. I'm just reading Thingy's question there, things there. So what tends to happen is there's most clairs, there's like Claire Augustus, there's loads of lower clairs. And what you've got to understand here is that most good mediums are moving up and down this clair range. Because all spirits work differently, all of them. Every spirit is working on a different clair range. So the more you broaden this clair range, the better it's going to be for you. Because not all spirits are going to come in on a clairvoyance link. And if you can't hear them, or you can't sense them, or you can't pick their emotion up, or you don't know they're there, you're going to struggle. And I had to learn this lesson quite strongly. I'm quite a larger personality, as most of you will have guessed, right? Anyway, but for the quieter lady, or for the more shyer, retiring woman, or man, or brother, or sister, or whatever, I sometimes miss them because their voice wasn't as strong as, a person who had a larger personality. And they sometimes come in on different frequency clairs. So in order for you to get the maximum out of your mediumship, you need to be broadening these clair ranges to the best of its ability. And what mediums don't do is most mediums stay here. They'll stay with clairvoyancy, with bits of clairsentience in it, maybe it's a touch of claircognilion, and that'll be it. And so that's where they stay within their parameters of their mediumship, where if you open all of this up, you have this extensive knowledge range of just about being able to hit most communicators if you have the knowledge within your mind also. But if you can understand most of this clair range, or the other clair ranges out there, you may need to look them up, you have a fighting chance of being able to develop more, to understand the spirit world more, to understand your mediumship more. Don't ever get boxed in with your mediumship. I've said this a few times now. Be as general as possible. I don't mean general with the evidence, but you should be general with your mediumship and be it. It goes right back to the first question that I had of the night when I asked about development classes. Don't have any expectations here. Don't have any sort of, go with the flow. Keep it wide, keep it broad. Don't get boxed in. If you box yourself in with your mediumship, you're limiting yourself. You don't want to be limiting yourself in any capacity. Mediumship's a journey. It's a learning experience, an opportunity to gain knowledge. It's an opportunity to gain wisdom, integrity, whatever it may be. Don't just stay here. Learn, even if you don't do these clairs as well as you do the other clairs, that's okay. But at least get some gauge on them so you understand them. Especially if you're going to go into teaching, or if you're going to go into, other parameters of mediumship. You've got to have an understanding of these. You can't teach them unless you understand them. So, and also it's really, really vitally important that you at least touch upon them so that you understand. I'll never forget it. I'll tell you the story. So when I first started on my mediumship, I started out doing great chat real soon. Ta-ra, Danielle, love. When I first started out my mediumship, I was doing a particular individual. I was up at a group sitting, that's where I was. And I'll never forget, I got this great sense of smell of strawberries, and it was so strong, it was unbelievable. Thank you very much, Vicky. It was unbelievably strong, and it was sort of like, it was so intense, and yet I don't get them as often, or them smells and them tastes as often as I do, but I understand them enough to be able to give them if and when they come. But if I hadn't experienced it, I wouldn't be able to understand it. So for me personally, it's really vitally important you don't limit your mediumship in any capacity, because important for you to learn and grow your knowledge in every way, shape and form. So let's just have a little bit of a talk. So Johnny said hi, how you doing? Deb saying, thanks Dan for answering my question. It was a weird dream because he was chanting, but his voice came through to me. I woke up chanting myself. Bless you, Deb. I feel awfully sorry for you, sweetheart. You know, my advice to you would be go away and ask the question. That's what I would do. I would go away, sit for the spirit world, and ask him to come forward and see what he's got to offer you. Because I think there's a lot to learn, and I think you're going to be quite heavily impressed if you were to go away and just sit for a little while and check that out there. All right. Sarah saying, I get excited when you come on now. Oh, bless you. Well, you got any questions for me, Sarah? Andrew says, I haven't read for a while, getting back into it. You know, there's a great privilege, I think, of doing personal readings. I really enjoy personal readings. I've got to be honest. I like that. I like that interaction. You mean I love demonstration work. It's my passion. I'm passionate about all things mediumship, actually. Thank you for explaining this. I was confused because of Tiffin time, Claire's a different love was. Yeah, that's what it is, Terry. And learning to what you're doing is you're gaining knowledge. And you know, I was talking a lot in the Zoom class about this last night. But I'll just quickly talk about personal sittings and I'll get to you. You know, for me personally, personal sittings are a beautiful opportunity. One, to learn a lot about how you interact with the general public. Two, how you can have that empathy for the person who sits in the chair opposite you because you've got nowhere to go. Private sittings are very personal, up close. There's very little room for manoeuvre. On demonstrations of mediumship, if it looks like it's gone wrong, there's always opportunities to alter and change your mediumship if you need to. But in personal sittings, there's just you and the sitter. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing else you can sort of do, you know. And for me personally, they're a great way of learning your mediumship up close and personal, and learning to be sitting in a situation that's probably a little uncomfortable, but learning to have to trust in the spirit world because there's nowhere to go on a personal setting. So I hope that helps you a little bit there. Terry saying she gets confused. Right. For me personally, the clear range is really important. It's important, and I was talking about it in the Zoom class last night. We're never going to get it 100% right with the spirit world. And the reason being, one is we're constantly developing the range, but we're also gaining knowledge. The more knowledge you have, the more opportunity the spirit world has to work with your mind. The more understanding you have in here of life experiences, different scenarios, you know. Let me put this to you. Why is it, do you think, that we go out into development classes? Why do you think it is that we go to open circles to practice? What do you think you might be gaining from that? Just out of curiosity, what do you think you might be gaining from there? What do you think you might be getting? What do you think your spirit world might be putting into your mind? I was waiting for a few of you to comment in the box. There's no trick question here. It's just whatever you think really is helpful to you. What do you think that may be? Just out of curiosity, why do you think you do open circles? Why do you think that you maybe go into development classes and all these types of things? Why is that? More experience? Yes, that's true. Yes, that's very true, Terry. Experience of what? Knowledge and understanding? Yep, that's true as well. What else do you think? Any other offers? Probably. So, when we're developing as the medium, one, we're developing knowledge and experience. Yes, they're working with sitters, working with the spirit world, this type of thing. But also we're putting certain knowledge in. So I'll give you an example. So about maybe a year ago, I was knowledge and learn about routine. Yeah. So about a year ago, well done to all of you lot. So about a year ago, I was on a group sitting. And on the group sitting, there was a gentleman come forward. He was a dad, and he was for a particular lady who was sitting in front of me. And he got talking about his story. So his story was that he was a grave digger, and that he had He had worked as a grave digger all his life. And now I got the grave digger bit, I seen that bit. But there was another bit he was trying to get over. Now he showed me an image of my son. Now my son was born asleep. And then after that, he showed me a bench. And all these babies lined up on the bench. But I couldn't quite get what he was trying to get over to me. All right? So I did explain what I had, but I couldn't quite put the story in. There was like blanks in the story. And when I finished the particular sitting, and I said to the particular lady, I says, look, I says, you know, I would be interested to know what it was that went on there. She said, well, my dad was at the end of his life. He'd never spoken to a living soul apart from his daughter right before he was about to die. And he said to her that he had been a grave digger, and years ago, people couldn't afford for children to be sort of buried. It was so expensive. So as the grave digger used to bury the children quietly and in their own little grave in the graveyard without anybody knowing. But I didn't have any experience of that, and I didn't know anybody where that experience had come. So I could get elements of it, but I couldn't get it all. And yet, now, since I've had that reading and I've done that, it doesn't come up often, but it has come up twice since in a story. The stories have been similar, not completely similar, but similar. And what the spirit world does is when you're doing your experiences, when you're training with the spirit world, when you're working with them and getting this knowledge and doing these sittings, what you're actually doing is putting knowledge inside of your mind. Really? Well, you should join one of my classes, Terry. You know what I mean? I don't know how that fits in your parameters, but I don't know whereabouts in the world you're from, Terry. You know what I mean? Let me know. So understand that the spirit world's always looking to teach you something. They're always giving you extra knowledge. People say, was my mediumship where it is like today, where it was when I first started out? Most certainly not. I was doing a lot of the little grannies with grey hair and all that, but that was because I did a lot of grandmas, I did a lot of nanas, and I did a lot of mums and dads and this type of thing. Why? Because it wasn't because my mind was fearful, it was because my mind understood it and my mind could relate. As I started to move further and further down the path, and as my confidence grew, the spirit world started to bring new experiences to me. So I would do a lot of people who got the spirit world through suicide. And then I started to do a lot of people who were gay. Then I started to do a lot of uncles and aunties, just so I could gain this knowledge. Does that make sense? Do I always get it 100% on the nose? No, I'll tell you the next experience, even up until so. And this is how clued up the spirit world are. So I was in a particular. I've just started learning clairs now. Looking forward to that. Ah, you got it, did ya? Good stuff. Well done, Terry. Then. Well, I look forward to having you with me then. Look forward to it, Terry, all right? So yeah, I was up at Jarrah. It's a local SNU church up here in the northeast of England. And I was on this demonstration of mediumship, and this young gentleman come forward, and I was like, I've got this young gentleman here with me, and I knew I wanted to be sort of at the front. I wasn't quite sure, but I knew I wanted to be at the front. And I've got to be honest, right, I could see the boat, and I could see the water, but I just couldn't quite get the other element of it. Then I could see him in the water and drowning, because I understand drowning, I get that. Drowning, I don't see it, I see bubbles. When I see bubbles, it's my similar for drowning. But I couldn't see, so I could see the boat, I could see him in the water, and I could see him on the boat as well. But I couldn't get that last bit of element. So at the end, when I finished doing the communication, the rest I could get because I understood it, and my mind accepted it and knew where it wanted to be. So at the end, the lady pulled me and she said, I really want to talk to you. She says, da, 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 da. I says, yeah, no problem. She says, can I express to you, the young gentleman you brought through? I says, yes. She says, he actually fell off the back of a boat and went missing in the water, and they've never found him. So what we're going to say to you here is and what I'm trying to say, and guess what? Since I've done that, that was a year ago, I've done 10 more very similar or like it's in some demonstrations for mediumship. Why do you think that is? You only need one reading, one sitting, one demonstration to put extra knowledge into your mind, so that when you come, and what the spirit will do is they'll pull that memory from your mind, even though it's not completely the same. They'll use that as a basis for you to be able to give that communication over. This is why it's so fundamentally important of the life experiences and the knowledge that we gain through doing development and doing an understanding of not only the clear range but also the development and why we should never rush that development, because the development's important. The spirit world will always start you where it's most, where your knowledge most likely is. So for example, when I first started out, most of my knowledge was in end of life, mental health, grandmas, granddads, my ex-partner, because my ex-partner's in spirit world, and children. That was where I started, and a lot of my knowledge was done from there, and there were some other elements in there, but I didn't understand how brothers passed, because I don't understand that, and I don't know anybody round and about this. And I don't understand how mums pass, because I've never had my mum pass, she's still here, but I use my nana as a reference to her because she was like my mum. So what the spirit will do is to use what you have in here to better serve you, and as you move forward, and this is where people say, I want to move forward, I want to move forward. What the spirit will do is as time moves on, they bring more and more of that in for you, so that you get more and more knowledge. If you bring too much knowledge in all at once, your mind won't like it and it'll turn it down. See, lots of people probably not agree with this and they'll go, no, it's like this and it's like that. This is just my structure on it. This is just what I've seen over the years, and what how my development has gone. It may resonate with some, it may not resonate with anybody. But I just thought I'd give that out there and hope that it helps you in some capacity. So Terry's saying, yeah, I've seen Terry's. I've started to learn the clays now and set the power to join my team and work on loving myself more. Feel like I'm doing everything. Or is there more to learn? Sarah, there's hours more to learn. Hours. You never stop learning for the spirit world ever. You always, always, always learn every day. I learn every day with them. They shock me every day. Honestly, they do. They catch me off guard all the time, and I learn something. If it's not about myself as the instrument, then there's some the growth within my knowledge in respect of the spirit world. So Vicky said, third eye question. Oh, okay. I have been working on third eye development, had some success when my eyes are closed. Can I also develop with my eyes open? Where? Somebody asked me that question the other week about, and I'm going to do a video on it called Eyes Wide Shut. So lots of people want to know why it is that certain mediums shut their eyes and then open them and speak, or how some people can open their eyes and just talk and do the development in that capacity. I think it's I've kind of my development. I'll tell you sort of about learning to train medium. Some mediums find it really nerve wracking, sort of having people look at them. They find it very uncomfortable and they're a little unsure of what's going on, if that makes sense. So they tend to sort of shut their eyes. Also, sometimes when they shut their eyes, they then move the mind, so it's easy for them to move their mind to the spirit world. When mediums who do it with the eyes open and linked to the spirit world, it's just more development. It's just something that comes gradually over time. Funny, I was watching a video on YouTube just before I come on here, actually. You know, I'm out browsing YouTube, you know, just watching. I'm not generally looking for anything in particular. And there was a particular well-known medium on there, well-renowned, and actually he was shutting his eyes when he was doing his mediumship at times, not all of the time, but sometimes. So my advice to you, Vicky, is if it's good enough for the more well-renowned, then it's good enough for you. The way I look at it, do your mediumship your way, not the way somebody says you should do it. If you feel comfortable doing your mediumship with your eyes shut, and you're not just open it to give the messages and then you shut them again, by all means do that. I have seen that on demonstrations of mediumship. If you can do it with your eyes open, and you can link to the spirit world and still do it. It's about learning to be. It's another thing. It's the altered state, because when we move the mind, we move it to an altered state of a shift of consciousness. And some people find that shift of consciousness a little too much, so they shut their eyes in order or to push themselves over. Learning to feel when that shift's coming in. I've got a video coming up on Thursday for development. You're going to love it. And had great responses in my Zoom class. It's one I use in my development an awful lot with mediums. And this will give you probably, Vicky, a little bit more understanding of that. It's an awareness link, actually. So it's an awareness of how much you're shifting the mind, and where and if and how. So my advice here is watch that video on Thursday. Can you develop and leave your eyes open? Yeah, but that might take a little bit of time. Best thing to do is learn to keep your eyes open, or learn to trust that what you're being shown is true, right, and accurate. Would be my answer to that. I hope that answers your question a little bit for you there, my darling. Let's have a drink of this tea. But I will always say, do your mediumship your way. Never, ever, ever do your mediumship in a way that you should be like somebody else. It should always be unique. I like mediums who are unique. It's a real breath of fresh air. That's how I look at stuff like that. Like, I like mediums who are happy and comfortable and sit within their own parameters. And building your relationship with the spirit world will also get you that there as well. It will certainly help you out in that capacity. So I hope that answers your question a little bit. Do you want a little bit more on that, Vicky? Let me know. So let me just, for those who have maybe just joined us, thank you very much to everybody who's joined us, even if you're not commenting. I want to say, I know you're there in the background, so thank you very much for coming along and, certainly getting involved. I know some people get a bit nervous about typing or, they just like to sit in the background and sort of listen and this type of thing. So, I do know you're there and I hope you take something away from the stream. For those who are talking about the classes and stuff, I have put the email address in the chat, so certainly check that out there as well. Gonna add that practice. Thank you. It's all about remembering not to rush things, Vicky, as well, learning just to sort of take your time with stuff. Because sometimes, we can get a little sort of caught up in, like, for example, you were asking us earlier on about like what other people's doing and what you're not doing. Learn to accept and understand that you're just evolving at your natural pace, and it'll happen when the time is right. And everybody's in a bit, we're all in a rush these days. As many of us know, we've got such a busy lifestyle. Mediumship, unfortunately, you cannot rush. You cannot buy mediumship. As much as, I sell development classes and I do this and do that, yes, hints and tips are fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But nobody can make you a medium. Nobody. Only you can do that. Only you can develop it. Bless you, Sarah, love. Did you not tell him to get back like I told you to? You must have had quite a busy... Did you sleep all right, Sarah? Let me know. So let me answer Sarah's question. So it's the one that I get quite a lot. So when mediums first start out, you've obviously got all this extra sensory system firing off, which can be quite a lot for people. It really can. It can be an awful, awful lot for you. There's a couple of ways to stop that. So one, it's either you become very monetary and right from the start of how you're disciplining your mind, what you're thinking about, how you're thinking it, and how often you're thinking of the spirit world. That's one of the first ways. That's going to get you disciplined. It's going to get you focused. That's quite tough for those who are really, really quite a busy-minded person like me, man or woman. So that's going to be a bit of a struggle there for you, because really you've got to be looking for the spirit world in order for the spirit world to connect. That's a given, right? But when I first started out, and I still have these boundaries in place, we have guides up there in the spirit world, and they're there for lots of different reasons. They're there for help with the development of the medium. They're there for advice and guidance. They can't tell you what to do, you know what I mean? But and they don't really talk about your walking world, if that makes sense. But they will sort of guide you, and they will sort of, they don't cheat, and they don't tell you how sort. But if I ask cheeky boys, sometimes, a lot of the time I get, you'll have to wait and see. But other times, there is certain elements of things he will give me or acknowledge, and etc., 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 etc. And guides also can sort of keep the loved ones back, if you put boundaries in, these types of things. So for those who are the budget medium who don't have the guides in place, you're going to have to get the discipline in place. Or if you have the guides in place, go back to the guides and say, look, I didn't want these loved ones coming forward before the time is right. You've got to remember there's an element of you in here as well. So you've got to be prepared to accept that, you've got to meet the spirit world halfway. So you've got to not be constantly looking for the spirit world, and they can also keep the loved ones back as well. So you can put sort of boundaries in place, a bit like boundaries you put down here in the house. So, anybody's just allowed to walk into your house off the street. It's a bit like that in the spirit world, and the spirit world will try to accommodate that wherever possible. But there's also got to be an element of you are what you look for, you're looking for the spirit world, etc., etc., etc. So you've got to sort of take that into consideration. But you can, if you have the guide, put some boundaries in place. They may, over time, want you to start to develop that discipline of not always looking for the spirit world. Newbies tend to look for the spirit world a lot because they're unsure of the sensory system, they're unsure of who they are as an individual, they're not quite sure, So somebody said to us, they thought the link had left, and that was brought up in the Zoom class last night. I haven't done any particular work in the spirit world for some time, Danielle, and I think my link has gone. The spirit will never leave you. Never, ever, ever, ever. You know, yes, your link may sort of, a bit like what Del was talking about, might fade a little, but it's a bit like a bike. You just get back on the bike, and while you might wobble a bit, then you get the momentum going, and then it all just starts to come back. It also starts to come back gradually, and sometimes it'll come back with a bang. Just depends on, how much you're prepared to put into it to bring it back, and how much you want it, if that makes sense. But know the spirit will never, ever, ever leave you. And I think for newbies, when they first start out, put that eating on a bit, you're always worried that the spirit world may leave you, or your communication's not going to be quite right, or there's always this element of trust. And I've got to be honest with you, and I said this again in the Zoom last night, I'll say it on here. I don't think there isn't a medium out there from time to time that doesn't question their trust in the spirit world in some capacity. I've got to be honest with you on that one. I speak to many different mediums across the world, and I'm in the UK, and they all, from time to time have had a rough ride within their mediumship. So there's always that sort of element of worry, or there's always this element of, and I think, and this is where I'd like to see more talk, especially from the professional side of it, or where people class people as professional, people who put, these sort of labels on people, where we start talking a little bit more about, them types of things, because they do go on in the industry, the lack of trust, the worry, the worry on the rostrum, is it going to be right? And, a lot of mediums, while they do have that trust, and I'm not disputing that, there will be times when they do question that, or they do doubt that in some capacity. And that should really be talked about a little bit more, because then I think the newbies in the mediumship, or the beginners, wouldn't feel so as if they're trying to catch up in some capacity, because you aren't really catching up. These are exactly the same as a professional. It's just that you need to hone that skill set that little bit more. That's it. Other than that, you are just as good as the professional, and I've seen it in all its glory. I'm not knocking anybody who does this professionally for a living, or anything like that. So please don't think that. All I know is there's no real separation between the beginner and the intermediate. It's just that they've had more practice, more development, and they've been walking down that line a little bit more. That's all it is. I hope that answers your question. Sarah says she slept well. I slept well last night. Like, I've got to be honest, I was up for the count last night. I was wiped out. I didn't get up at 9 o'clock this morning. I was like that. I was like drooling everything this morning when I woke up. I tell you. Hi, Sarah, darling. I hope you're well and you're keeping all right. And I hope the family's well down there in Wales. You have a fellow Wales lady, which is Sarah. Sarah's from Wales as well. I love Wales. I went down there as a kid for holidays and stuff. Went to Snowdonia Mountain and whatnot. Lovely place for anybody who's abroad here, who's maybe watching it. Check out Snowdonia Mountain. It's a phenomenal, lovely place in Wales there. Any questions for you lovely lot here hiding in the background? That cheese breathing. Oh, very nice. I like the emojis. I do, Sarah. They're very good. I like them a lot. I don't know about the chat, but I don't know about you lot, but I can. Oh, it's just shut up there. I think it's my eyes. I think I need to have my eyes looked at. Definitely need to have my eyes looked at. Hey, Danielle, my book is released. Well done, Vicky. I'm proud of you, my darling. Congratulations on you becoming an author for the first time. For anybody who's also watching, for anybody who's also not know, I am also an author myself, so I have the book Freestyling Mediumship, which is available via Amazon. It is a beginner's book. It's very, very for the simple, for those who are just starting out. It is not an intermediate book, and it's not an exercise book. It is a book just to give you some understanding of knowledge of from the beginner's perspective. It was actually wrote not so much for the budget medium, but more for the general public, because I had a lot of general public who used to ask me an awful lot of questions in regards to mediumship. So it is really for the general public, those who are delving into mediumship, and those who are also just starting out on that mediumship path there. So it may be a worthwhile buy for some of the people who are here on the channel. Speak to you soon. Yes, Sarah, I'll speak to you soon. And you'll fill it in. Yes, by all means, Sarah, I look forward to it. Vicky's saying, yes, I'm very proud of you, Vicky. Well done indeed. And I hope, the book is a great success, and I hope it all works out for you. Laurie's looking forward to reading with you tomorrow. It's my second book. Oh, a second book, eh? Oh, we are getting good. I know I've been meaning to bring my second one out, which is Evidence, but I've had a lot on, I'll be honest with you, Vicky. training and you know, all these types of things. It's been extremely busy. So, but I wish you the very best of luck with the Vicky. All the same, whether you be first or your second, my darling. I feel there'll be a few more to come as well. Sarah's saying, I asked my guy to show me my pipe because I've seen it in a couple of days, and boom, today. Yeah, you should always trust in them guys. They're really important. You know, them people are there for all the right reasons. You know, they are there because they were given to you by the spirit world. They're there because they want to naturally help you grow. And you know, I said this in the Zoom class, and I'll say it again. Do you know, each and every one of you are spirit trained, and you know how that is because you're all guided by the spirit world in every way. You don't realize it. You're constantly being inspired. You're constantly being motivated. You're constantly being indulgently, not pushed the wrong word, and indulgently asked to look at things from, you know, all perspectives. You know, the spirit world always train you. They are your best teachers because they know you so well. They have bountifuls of knowledge. You know, I hear people talk about the intelligence of the spirit world all the time. It amazes me. You know, I can only speak from my perspective, and I'm certainly not going to bash anybody here, and I'm certainly not going to be unreasonable. But I have to be honest, and I've said it a few times now here on the channel. I see an awful lot of you know, people who you say the intelligent, but I don't see them using the intelligence. You know, the intelligence is that these guides are there for all the right reasons. They're there to teach you, they're there to help you, they're there to guide you, they're there to take you along that journey. They can't do that journey for you, but they can walk that journey with you. And they are very, very clever, they're very, very clued up, and they're very sort of, you understand your mind better than probably you understand your own. And they know the purpose of you, but they'll never ever be able to tell you that, but they know your purpose very, very strongly, and they know exactly what's in your best interest, even if you can't currently see it right now. And you know, I see lots and lots of people. I try to be as kind as possible, you know, Debbie. You know, there's lots of things I say I didn't like. There's lots of things that I'm not really that happy with, but you know, I've learned that it's not my job to get involved in the bigger pictures. It's my arrogance if I think that I'm better than the divine plan. Do you know what I mean? I'm just a minuscule in the drop of the universal consciousness that we all move in. Nobody's bigger than the universe. Nobody. I don't care who you are. You know, you can be the best of the best to the lowest of the low. We all have our place and we all have our purpose and we all have an opportunity. And by getting involved in stuff, I'm getting involved in somebody else's karma because it's either going to happen for all the right reasons or it's going to end up in tears. And it's not, once what we've got to learn to understand is not to get involved. When we start getting involved, we start having opinions about, we start saying this, we start saying that. What happens is you're getting involved in the divine plan. And when you get involved in the divine plan, what happens is you can get caught up in somebody else's karmic lessons, whatever it may be there. So I've learned not to get involved in anything. I can monitor and I can watch, but I just don't say anything. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not my job to say anything. But you know, this intelligence is massively important, and it's not that I don't think people don't understand it, because I think some people do understand it, and I think some people get it very, very well out there, and I don't think that they don't not get it. But there's some people that I say use that word, but yet don't use the intelligence behind it. And if you learn to use the intelligence, use your guides to the best of your ability, you develop and move a lot quicker than, you know, like I said before, you can't buy mediumship. You can't. You can't pay people thousands of pounds to make you a medium. You can't. And you've got to remember, the knowledge is only their knowledge. It's only what they've gained from their team. And you know what I like about the spirit world? And when you use your guides and you use that intelligence, the evidence and the knowledge becomes your own, which is really important when you're working in an industry or going out into an industry where there's lots of different samples of knowledge. And some knowledge will resonate with you. Some of it will work handsomely well for you, but some of it will not. And that's where you will need to call upon your own experiences and your own relationship with the spirit world to make sure that you don't get sort of bounced off the path, if that makes sense. Because it does and can happen, and you can get what I call knowledge overload, which is where you're taking on vast amounts of knowledge from all over the place, but you don't actually have any understanding of your own knowledge or your own sort of spirit team or your spirit relationship. So there's one that maybe is an area of caution for people out there. Just don't check that one out. My first was definitely remember. Well, like I say, Vicky, I wish you the very best of luck with it. I hope it all works out for you. You know, I certainly, I wish anybody the best, and I hope that it all certainly works out for you. And you know, I can only but have a word with the spirit world and see if I can help you with that one in that capacity. Have we got any other questions from you, lovely, lovely lot? Angela says she's currently writing a book or a novel. Well, I wish you the very best of luck with that one and all, Angela. Martin Smith. Hello, Martin. I have a brother called Martin Smith. You're not my brother, are you? Hello, Martin. How are you? Hiya, Danielle. I'm trying to develop a clear audience at the moment. Do you have any tips to help? Okay. So, clear audience is predominantly one that everybody is always wanting, one that everybody's always looking for. And for me personally, clear audience is a natural progression. It's something that will come of its own time. I don't believe that there's a natural set hints and tips that can actually develop clear audience. I think it's a natural progression of your mediumship. So as you start to move further and further down that path, Martin, you'll find that they start to change your clear range, which will ultimately help you to develop that in some capacity. What you could do, and what I would recommend is maybe possible for you, is to start sitting with the spirit world and ask them to change the images, to take the images off, take some of the feelings off, and ask them to start and work with you clairaudiently. Now, one that me and Chief did, and that's my guide Martin, so this may be beneficial to you, is when Chief used to come forward, he used to come to one side, then he would come to the other side, and I would be able to, and then he would ask me what the words were that I'd heard. And sometimes I get it right, Martin, and sometimes I wouldn't. So if you have guides in place, that could be a hint and tip with development of the spiritual realms, doing it that way. On the earth world clear audience, for me personally, if you're going to develop it down here, let me just have a bit of a think on that one for you. Right, so what they're giving me there, so let me just help you with that one, Martin, would be to take in certain sounds down here, so certain maybe ringing of bells, maybe becoming aware of, what everything sounds like and putting that knowledge into your mind. Could I say to you as well, Martin, if you don't mind me asking, your clear audience, is it coming in actually internally or externally? Would you let me know? Because then I can understand a little bit more. So if you could comment in the box and let me know which way is it external. So external is where you're hearing it with your own ears, as if you were talking to me, but normally it's either just one word or just sort of one sound, or is it internal as in inside your mind? So you may hear the words, so are the names at a distance, or is the word at a distance, or is it really close up? Which side, Martin, is it left or right? Fill me in a bit more. You're gonna have to give me a bit more on that one, sweetheart. Deb's saying so true. I'm thinking right now. Everybody's writing a book. It's internal. Okay, so internally. So how close are they, Martin? Are they quite far away, or do they feel quite up close and personal? Terry said, I can't remember at the moment, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on how spirit guides, past relations, etc. I will certainly give a look at that one, Terry. I'm not me. Oops, can't remember if you covered that. Sorry. No, I haven't, but I'll cover it for you, Terry. We'll certainly take a look at it. I'm just having a look at Martin here. How close are they, Martin, and which side, my darling? I hear my mind, but I can't see which side. Right. Do you have some guides in place, Martin, sweetheart? Quite close. All right, then. Yeah, I get that. All right. Tell me, have you got some guides in place, sweetheart? Yes. Right. This is what I want you to do, Martin, my darling. I want you to go to the guide, and I want to say to the guide, can you start and come in from either right or left? See which side it's more louder on. See, I work when I've got my clear audience, it comes in on the left. It doesn't come into the right, it comes into the left. So, and this is where me and Chief's my guide. Chief would stand one side and the other side, and it's my play audience was more predominantly on this side, one I'm sure of anyway. That's fine, you only need one more, one's enough. That's all you need in the team. The more guides you've got, the more you've got to manage. So the best thing to do is just stick with one and one's enough. There's lots of talk in the industry about you need this big team. You didn't, you just need the one. More guides, more people, more managing, more energies to manage. They're managing the energy of the spirit world as well. Don't worry about that. Stick with the one you're not. Dump the rest if you didn't need them. Get this guy to come forward and ask him. I want to say him, so it must be him. Ask him if he can start and find out which side it's stronger on. Then work from there. Also, he will also help you by stepping back and saying words at a distance, and then saying words are a little bit closer. Work with the guide more, and he'll help you more with that. Down here on the earth plane, there's not a great deal. The only other way that I can give you is to listen to different sounds down here, which will then make mental notes in the mind, so that when you're working with the spirit world, they'll be able to pull that data from your mind. That's the only way I know to develop clairaudience in respect of me personally, because that's how I develop mine. But again, this will take time on. It won't happen overnight. You're going to have to give that time. Do you get songs and all, Martin, or do you just get words? Yeah, we thought it was a hymn. I was talking about it was a hymn. It's not up my luck, didn't that? Not that he does now, anyway. Do you get songs and all? A lot of mediums get songs. I was working with a girl in a workshop a fortnight ago, and that's all she got, songs all the time. Yeah. hmm Keep an eye on that. It's nice to say you're good. What, you getting full names, or are you just getting first names, second names, middle names? What you getting? Or are you getting it out? Street names? Must be quite analytical, are you, Martin? Quite a logical fella? I bet you are. Unsurprises. But yeah, she got songs. Loads of songs. She wakes up with songs in her mind, she can't spell songs in her head. Yeah, they like to sing songs, the spirit world. Normally they're from the spirit world in order to relate in some capacity. My advice to Martin, let it develop naturally. Don't push it, just give it time. But I will work with the spirit world on that one. They'll have more knowledge on that. Hi to everybody who's just saying hi. So, Terry was asking me, I can't remember the moment, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on our spirit guides and past relationships with them. I do not disagree with that, Terry. I don't know whether it's true, but it's not something I've ever spoken to Chief about. I've got to be honest with you on that one. Do I think that, we could start getting down the reincarnation road and all them mainly first names, sometimes covenants, etc. I'm a bit, yeah. Normally, most clairaudience mediums are analytical or have some analytical, logical mind. I bet you're very good with words, Martin. I bet you can spell really well. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. The spirit world, use what you're good at, which you're obviously very good at. Words, names, you probably retain information, but in a logical sense, quite well. But anyway, yes. So with Terry, connection to Terry, it's like the reincarnation sort of route, that type of thing. Do I think that the guides have had some past life with us? Maybe. Do I think that some of us have been down here? No problem, Martin. No problem at all. I wish I could be of more help to you, my darling. I really do. I wish you the very best luck on your journey, my darling. Yeah, there is an email account if you need me at any time. Sort of get in touch. I can't promise you anything, but I'll do my very best there, my love. All right. Work with the guides. It'll get you a lot further forward. Or my advice to you is to seek out a clairaudience teacher, not a clairvoyant. Somebody who understands clairaudience, not clairvoyancy. So they work predominantly clairaudience, my darling. So yes, with connections to Terry's connection, my advice to you would be with that. My talk on that one is yeah, I do think there is some connection in that. There could well be some connection in it. Like I say, I've never really spoken to Chief about them things. I would need to speak to him about them in order to understand them more, and I would certainly need to be able to get a better judgment on that. So in all honesty, Terry, I think that might be another topic we need to discuss at another time. in order to discuss further, because I would really like to know, what the spirit world's, thoughts and feelings are on that topic. Do I believe in reincarnation? Yeah, I do. I know lots of people don't out there, and I appreciate that. So, it's everybody's, sort of opinion here, or what your beliefs are. Probably opinion's the wrong word. More belief would probably be a better word there. But yeah, for me personally, do I think the guides have had something to do with us? Yeah, definitely. Lots and lots of talk on clairaudience tonight. So I hope that one will certainly take a look at that one, Terry, my darling. As a clairaudience, I can hear my guides, but I'm unable to see them or get a name yet. Will I intend my so can I ask you a question then, Denise? Let me just help you out there, right? Can I ask why it's so important that you have the name? Can you explain that bit to me first? Because I need to understand that parameter first there. Because lots and lots of mediums get sort of caught up in having this name. I've got to have this name, or and I'm just interested to know why you need that name. It will come over time, Sarah. Just give it time. Clairaudience is one of them that needs time to build. It takes some time. That one. It doesn't happen overnight. Definitely not. Unless you're naturally a clairaudience medium. Some mediums are naturally clairvoyant. Some are naturally, all clairs can be gained, but some will have more parameters in clairaudience or more parameters in clairvoyancy, depending on how the spirit world works with your mind. A lot of the time, and this is what people have to understand, is that when we hear the words, sometimes they sound like our own thoughts. So they're actually they sound like us. So when you hear these names, or you hear these street names, or you hear these songs and stuff, the songs will probably sound like, will sound a bit like, what you need. I felt like I needed more real. And I'm making up my head. Yeah. So there's still an element of distrust there, Denise. So really, you've got to trust in the fact that if you're hearing him, then there's no real need for the name, and it's more of a thing for you than it is for obviously the spirit world. But the spirit world will, if it's something that you desperately want or something that you need, then the spirit world will deliver that there. But my advice to you would be, if you can already hear them and you already know they're there, then go with that, trust in that, believe in that. Because the more you trust in it and the more you believe in it, the more you will find that your mediumship starts to move forward. And what you can do as well is again what I've also said as well, yeah, or a calling card, my advice to you would be just allow that to do what it needs to do. Maybe they want you to trust a little bit more in them, Denise. Could be that there and all. The spirit world, they don't not deliver, they will deliver. But at the same token, they may want you to trust that little bit more, that they are there, and to trust in yourself and believe in the spirit world. I hope that helps you. But will you get it in time? Yeah, because the spirit world always delivers. Just not when you want it, when they think the time is right. That's all I hear, when the time is right. Yeah, we'll certainly take a look at that topic again. Also with clairaudience, while we're just sort of here is that, remember clairaudience sometimes it sounds like you, and only over time will it maybe start off by you feel it maybe belongs to a man, it maybe belongs to a woman. And this is where people think they're making it up, like the lovely Denise there. She thinks she's making it up, but actually you're not making it up. It's just it sounds like you. And sometimes, clairaudience does, it just sounds like you. It just sounds like your own thoughts, your own sort of, feelings and this type of thing. And you've got to learn to just trust in that. And people say, well, how do you trust in it? You just got to give it as it comes. And if it's wrong, well, then it's wrong. That's okay. You may have just manipulated that energy a little bit too wrong. You've manipulated and haven't quite grabbed it right. But I bet there was still an element of it that was right. So I wonder if I hope that makes sense to you. I know name of main guy. I've seen him as well. Yeah. I think it's whatever that medium needs with the guides. Some mediums don't need, X amount of billions in the team. Some mediums need loads in the team. Some mediums need to have names, where they've been, what they're doing, X, Y, past lives, da 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 da. It's whatever it is that it's the medium who needs it more than the spirit world needs to deliver it, if that makes sense. Yes, it is, Denise. And It could be, this is what a lot of mediums didn't get, and probably a lot of people's going to scoff at this. So we're just going to sort of work with this one here, just for a little minute or two, all right? Many mediums will scoff at the fact that when the spirit world don't always deliver what it is that you're looking for or what it is that you need, there is an element of the spirit world trying to train your development. Each and every one of you are trained by the spirit world. If you're working for the spirit world, you're trained by the spirit world. There is no ifs and buts about that. And sometimes what the spirit world do, it's not the withholding what it is that you want. What they're doing is they're asking you to trust in them, that you believe enough in what it is that you're being given, and that you are, what you're being given is right and accurate. And when they're developing you, and all of us are developed, they may just be developing that trust link. They may just be developing this. You don't need to say everything right now. You don't need to have everything right now. You don't need to understand everything right now, because we need you to trust in us and believe in us that we're going to deliver exactly what it is at the right time when it's important for you. And that's what all mediums miss. Some mediums miss all of this bit. They think, and then what they do is they go out to development classes and all of this and the other, and go, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, instead of just accepting and allowing. Lots of mediums are rushing. Learn to allow, sit still, learn to be instead of doing. And when we learn to be is when we get what we're looking for, or when the spirit world will deliver. When we're pushing and we're asking and we're constantly sort of striving, you're missing the most valuable development that's available to you. So my advice to Denise is maybe they're trying to help you with your confidence. Maybe they're trying to help you understand that there is no need to worry here, because we're there, if that makes sense. And we're going to look after you all of the time. And when the time is right, we will give you what you're looking for, just not in the way that you want it. Check that one out. See how that one works for you, Denise. All right, girl? Ask for signs is best. I want a name before. Say, try to keep away from the name. So what we're going to do here is be humanitarian a little bit. All right, at this one. Don't get too caught up in the names. Right, so you work and click Cognelian as well as hearing it Martin. All right, but I'll go. So let's go with Sarah's question. Sarah Owen saying, ask for signs is best. I wanted to name before now, but I don't need it. That's right. So what happens is when we're new medium, we need to say it physically. You've got to touch it. It's got to be sort of here, in it now. I must have it. I need to understand it. This is important. My mind needs it. And that's because we're still developing as the medium. We're still sort of, best way to put it, you're attached to the materialistic world still. You're still sort of, you're bouncing between that world and this world, if that makes sense. So the best thing to do is the best way to get it is get your mind as limitless as possible. You don't need the attachment. Need bother, Denise, need bother else, sweetheart. If I can help you, honey, I will. Learn to not get too caught up in the labels. Remember, the spirit world don't label people. They don't. The spirit world aren't interested in labels. They don't say anybody any different in the spirit world to anybody else. They're all the same. All they've done is gained knowledge, more understanding, more compassion, more empathy. As far as they're concerned, there's no high ranking and there's no low ranking. Everybody's equal. Same as everybody on this channel right here, right now, we're all equal. I am no different to any one of you right now. I'm learning, yous are learning, we're all learning, and I like that. I like to share knowledge. Yous like to share knowledge. I like it when you comment in the comments box and share your experience. It's helpful. It's helpful for people. And that's what we're all doing here. And the spirit world, that's what the spirit world wants you to understand, is that by learning to trust in less of the labels and more in the experience and the journey, will you find that you're right on time. You're not no less or no more. You're right on time. Learn to dump the labels, learn to be just accepting and allowing of right here, right now. Know that there's nothing bad in the spirit world, nothing can harm you, there's no issues or problems here in that capacity, and that they're taking good care of you, and that everything that you're looking for is being delivered right at this very moment, at this very time. And when you learn to become an alignment and allowing of the energies, will you learn to become one with the spirit world? I feel it's a bit of, she's coming in there, hope. So I know she's there a bit. There's a bit of philosophy there for you folks. I like philosophy. I do. I love philosophy. I've got to be honest with you on that, right? But yeah, just allow. Just allow these guides to step forward and let them do what they need to do, and trust in them, and trust in your mediumship, and you know, I'll tell you a little story. If you want to hear me a little story, so I used to get it wrong. I still get it wrong. Even when I'm out demonstrating, I grab that energy a bit wrong, or I didn't quite hear it right, or I didn't quite get the picture right, or, whatever it may be. And I'll come away from a demo and I'll go, God, that wasn't a very good demo, or whatever it may be. And what the Spirit will come back to me and said, but no, Danielle, it wasn't a bad dem. It was a dem of learning and an experience of how we can better do things next time. And for a long time, I always questioned, why I wasn't nailing it, why it wasn't quite right, why wasn't I quite hearing it properly, or why wasn't the Spirit world delivering this, or why wasn't this happening? And then I realized that I was putting expectations on the Spirit world. And too much expectation on the Spirit world is not good. It's a human thing. Humans expect. Humans are wanting things to be delivered, and they want it to be delivered in the way that they feel is important for them. What you don't realize is when you decide to work for the Spirit world, what do you become? Comments in the box, just to interact here for a little while. So when you work for the Spirit world, what do you become? Comments in the box, folks. Just out of curiosity, just to see how you may see this from this parameters. So we become what for the Spirit world when we come up onto the journey path? What word would you put in the blank? So when we work for the Spirit world, we become blank. What do you become? Just out of curiosity, pop it in the comments box for us. I'm just interested to see your comment. Channel, yeah. Messenger, yeah. Them who in my Zoom class will know this question because they should have been listening to me last night. Anybody else? Instruments, yeah. What else? I'll get back to some of the comments in the comments box. I'm just interested to see what people's got to say. Conduct, yeah. Anybody else want to comment before I give the answer? Translator, yeah. Well done, Terry. Vessel, yeah. Well done. Mouthpiece. Well done, you lot. Well done. So, would you not be a server for the Spirit world? So when you come to work for the Spirit world, you become a server for them. So therefore, you become a helper for them to be able to deliver messages. And it is given in the way in which the Spirit world feels is important, not in the way that when we learn to let go of the restrictions we put upon the Spirit world, will you become aware of how much you've been restricting yourself? And when you realize that, when you allow, will you become aware how much that there is available to you? When you allow your mind just to be, when you just give your mind and your vessel, your instrument over to the Spirit world, will you become aware of how well and how easy it actually becomes? And as long as you don't allow the fear to kick in, and you don't allow your consciousness to kick in, and you let go of the expectation of how it should be delivered by guides or whatever, will you find that things will start to move forward quite nicely for you then? So once again, I've seen my nana was long, but yeah, so lots of people want to see them, lots of people want to, hear names, this, that, and the other. Will the Spirit deliver? Yeah. But I'll tell you the story. So many, many years ago, when I first met my guide and stuff like that, I was like, I want to know the name, I wanted to know what this, I want to know that. Now I've had new guides step forward, and I just allow that energy. I trust it, I feel it feels all right. I trust in the guide that I have, and I don't need to know any more than that. I don't need to know where they come from. I don't need to know who they are. I don't need to know this, that, and the other, because I trust in the Spirit world enough. I trust in that intelligence. Get in the habit of trusting in this intelligence. That intelligence is smart enough to be able to bring these guides. It's smart enough to be able to tell you the information and the evidence you need to know. That it's smart enough to allow these guides to step forward and to take you on that journey. Work with the intelligence, stop working against it, work with it. That's what lots of mediums are doing, is are working against the intelligence. You aren't working with the intelligence anymore. You're using your human mind. You know, I said to Chief many weeks ago, back last year, I said, look, I said, how can I help your people? You don't belong to me, you belong to the spirit world, all years. We all belong to the spirit world, never capacity. I said, how can we help your people? And he says, bring our people home. We want to train our people again. We want to share our knowledge with our mediums, our instruments. Yet there's so much human influence now that the spirit world aren't even able to get in anymore. So I hope that, do you lose faith? Well, yeah, of course I do. My conscious mind gets involved. I stop allowing, you know what I mean? I start getting sort of like up and in my head. And this is what I talk about, the intermediate mind now that doesn't get up and in their head sometime and think, you know, am I doing it right? What more can I do? You know, and but that's not the spirit world. That's me as Danielle. That's not Danielle the medium. That's Danielle, you know, Danielle doing here, who's striving and constantly wanting to push and do all these things. And I've had to learn to be more kind to myself, more gentle with Danielle. Danielle doesn't need to be on the gas, you know, every second of every day. I've learned that my mediumship's developing in a natural pace. I don't need to rush it. I don't need to, you know, push it. It's coming. It's there. It's not going anywhere. The people's still there. The development. Even when, you know, some of my sittings and that don't go well, instead of them, they're not going as well as what I expect, I have to accept and understand that there's an experience in there. There's a learning opportunity. What can I do better next time? How can I gain more knowledge? And I've got to be easy with myself, human. We give ourselves such a tough time. We think we should be nailing it. Yeah, well, we're all nailing it. There'll be no need for any more mediums. Does that make sense? If we had all these accurate evidential mediums out there, there'd be no room for any of us because they would be so good. We all bring something to the table. Every one of you sitting on here brings something to the table in some capacity. And I kind of credit you enough for that. Let's have a look. Let's see what else people's got to say. How comes this means we only get 1 or 2 responses? LC question. That's fine. You only need 1 or 2 answers. Do we need any more? If you've asked a question, then normally you will get maybe 1 or 2 words and maybe a picture or a feeling. Because not everything's going to come in on that clear audience link because maybe that's not tuned in enough. Or you've got to remember your mind might not be allowing that today. So they'll give you some pictures and some feelings to add in and build the picture. And this is where I go right back to what we were talking about earlier on today. Building your clear set is really, really important for building the picture because sometimes we see images and then we'll get a bit of wording, which is the audience. Then we'll make it a bit of clear sentience or clear cognilian. So it's helping you to build the picture. You can't build a full picture just on clear audience. It's just not possible. It won't happen. So we have to bring in some other clairs in order to help build the picture to make the picture better. So I hope that answers your question a little bit there, Elsie. When I put in the intent to work on building my relationship with my guides, I get dreams about it. Yeah, because your intention's everything when you go into the spirit world, in whatever capacity, or whether your intention is to go and find a communicator or whatever. Intention's really important. And I did do a video at the beginning of the year, so I hope many of you will join here. You know, we asked one thing. One thing that we wanted to say at the beginning of it, we put an intention in. My intention was to find more allowance with my mediumship, to allow my mediumship to be the best it could possibly be with the spirit world. I wasn't interfering so much. And I'm seeing that coming in already. And I know a lot of people put intentions in of what they wanted to see from the start of the year to the end of the year. We give the spirit world a full year for that development, which is a nice time for them there. So intentions are really important when we're connecting to the spirit world, or when we're using that intention to connect to guide, or whatever it may be. So I wish you the best of luck with that one there, Terry. This is just saying thank you. The rest of you is all saying this, that, and the other. At first on my journey, and Sarah, I've answered Sarah's, and I answered Sarah's as well. I often find Martin saying I often find I do more from sittings on my own and my guides than going too many sittings and worship. What do you think, Danielle? Martin, I'm a good, you know, so let me tell you a little bit about, I spoke about this a little bit on the channel, but I'll help you a little bit out here. So, me personally, I was spirit trained, always a spirit trained, I'm nothing special. And, you know, throughout my development, I've had a woman oversee that development. She never, ever, ever told me what to do. She'll go, do you know what she used to say? I used to start all questions, you know what she used to say to us? Go to the spirit world and ask the answers. And trust in the answers that you get back. That's what she used to say to me. I used to go to her looking for the answers and she wouldn't give us them. Because that's not a good teacher. If a teacher's constantly giving you the answers, you're not learning anything, you're not growing from that experience. And this is it's your own journey. It's your own opportunity to learn and grow and evolve. It's really important for you, for your relationship with the spirit world. And I will forever be probably in her death for that one more. I did a workshop. It wasn't for me. I didn't like it. It didn't sit quite right with me. Maybe I didn't quite sit with the right teacher. Maybe the workshop wasn't for me. Who knows? It just wasn't my cup of tea. I did 2 residentials. One I found very beneficial to my mediumship. The other one was beneficial to me, Danielle, not for my mediumship, but definitely for Danielle and learning more about myself. For me personally, Martin, it's always your choice. Where do you sit? What feels comfortable for you? Where? My advice, take it to the spirit world. Ask them for advice and guidance. If you're struggling or you're not quite sure, go to them for advice and guidance. Allow them to guide you. Allow them to take you wherever it is they want to take you. Because it will be then about you. It'll not be a human experience. It'll not be a human looking for it. It'll be the spirit world inspiring your mind to take you onto a new path or to take you to an individual. I was saying this earlier on in the stream. So he was asking me about development circles and this, that, and the other, and what should you do? And I said the best thing to do is have no expectations. Go to get like a list of development classes or workshops or whatever, and go to the spirit world and say, right, which ones? Which ones do you think? You know you better than anybody more. They'll never know you as better as a human. A human will never know you as better as the spirit world because you are spirit, you come from spirit. Hi, Jasmine. So I want to say to you there, learn to follow your instincts, follow them. They have the right knowledge. They have where they want you to be. Go to them, say to them, look, I need your help. Help me here. What do I need to do? Ask for help. Ask inside, go within. Lots of mediums gone outside looking for this, that, and the other. And you go realise that all the answers are in here. If you put the graft in, if you sit it in, if you learn to just take your time, learn to just trust in your ability, you'll never go far wrong. I guarantee you of it. Like I guarantee, and it'll be unique to you. It'll always be about you, which is what every medium's screaming at. I want to be unique. I want to be this. I want to be that. We can get spit sitting with the spirit world. Sit with these people. They will give you everything you need and a bit more. And we don't even use half the intelligence. Let me put it to you this way. All you that are sitting on. We all know the pioneers. We've all heard of Gordon and, Helen Duncan and, Estelle Roberts and, Marcel Burnell, and we've heard them all. Some of you will know some of them, some of you won't. Where do you think all of them lot went? They all went in back kitchen and sat on Spirit World. Gordon's a prime example. I've read his book. I like his book a certain lot. What I want to say to you is let's put it to you this way. If it was good enough for him to be trained by the spirit world and to gain all his knowledge from there, then why isn't it good enough for you? And you know what I asked Chief, I said, what's the problem here? He says, because people don't want to take the time. So I have to put that question to you. If it's good enough for them, there's been a deterioration massively in evidential mediumship over the last 50 years. It's a known proven fact. And he has to guess as to why that might be. Because we're pulled away from the very people that train us, from the very people that we do our mediumship for. We've gone to the human world for knowledge, and the best of the knowledge is in the spirit world. And if you just took the time to sit with them and learn from them, I'm not saying teachers haven't got hints and tips. I'm not saying that. I'm certainly not saying that at all. I'm not trying to bash anybody here at all. All I'm trying to say to you is that everything you need for your mediumship is within you, if you are to trust in it enough. And I will constantly promote that till the day I die. That my development was done solely through the spirit world, and with bits and pieces here and there, which is all you should be doing. Taking bits and pieces. That's all you need. You didn't need me there. And learn to work with them, work with the people that you're giving messages for. If they're good enough to give you that, they're good enough to give you the training, right? If you just believe in it. So it's up to you, Martin, what you do on that one, alright? Good, and I've just got in. Hello, Sasha, nice to have you here. Join us by all means. Sarah saying, should you ever lose faith because you were chosen? I don't believe anybody's really chosen Sarah, to be honest. I believe that, and I take personal responsibility for this word when I say it here, that we're all mediums and we all have the right to demonstrate in whichever way we feel is fit for us. I see many people who say we're all mediums and we're all developed and we're all natural and this, that, and the other, yet are frowned upon when then people look to stand on platform or anywhere else for that matter. You have to take some personal responsibility for that when you're shouting that kind of odds out there. And that's just again my viewpoint. I'm not saying that's true, right, and accurate, it's just the way I say it. So for me personally, Sarah, I believe everybody is a medium and I believe everybody is entitled to a chance. And everybody's entitled to stand on a platform, give a message, whatever kind of message, 2 or 3 words. I'll never forget. When I was first developing, I was at Open Circle at Burley Church up here in the northeast of England. I wasn't even, doing a great deal at the time. And I remember I was a girl out of the way. I knew there was a gentleman with us. I just knew he was there. I knew. And I thought, I'm going to have to get up here. And I got up, but because I was that nervous, right, I couldn't sort of get the words out. But all I got out was these 3 words. I'll never forget it. And he went, the teddy bear. And the lass just rocked up. And the whole entire room, I couldn't believe it. I hadn't even given the name, the address, all these things that we talk so heavily about here in the industry of evidence. And we do need evidence. I'm not just doing that. But we have to be very monetarian that sometimes the 3 words are far more important than a whole load of evidence, and we miss the very vital part that's so important to the clientele down there. And this is where I talk about everybody's medium. And just because they kind of get a full message together and they kind of do this and they kind of do that, they could give the 3 other words that are so important that does that healing and moves that individual forward. Who am I to take what's right, wrong, or indifferent? Who am I to say that the evidence that's been produced from that medium is not good enough for the clientele sitting in front of them? And yes, I understand standards. I get that. We do need standards. But not to the point where I'm telling the spirit world what they should be saying and what they shouldn't be saying. The spirit world should be allowed to say whatever they feel is important. Because after all, it is their loved ones, not mine. It didn't belong to me. I'm not here to get involved in them parameters. I'm only here to deliver what the spirit world asked me to deliver. And yet we scoffed at and we scoff already at people who don't produce the right kind of evidence because it doesn't quite hit the caliber or it's not quite, if somebody's standard. Who met the standards here, like? Do you know what I mean? Where's the spirit world in amongst all of this? And they're just some of my feelings on them type of thing. Everybody has an ability, and everybody should have the opportunity to speak for the spirit world in whichever way they feel is important. Obviously, we don't want to be picking on people, we don't want to be mean to people, and we don't want to be doing this, that, and the other, you know what I mean? Didn't get me wrong here. But in the same token, they could be saying something that's so beneficial, but to us it might not be evidential, but to the people sitting in the congregation, it is evidential. And they're just some of the things that I feel from the spirit world. Sometimes I hear them, sometimes I hear what they have to say. So let me know what you light up the comments box, folks. I like to hear what you've got to say. I certainly, questions if you've got them, but by all means get involved in the stream. I certainly want to hear what you've got to say. I'm juggling more with messages. I've received some of my friends in the past. I know feel they would like to reach out to their families. Right. So it's up to you there, Terry. It's up to you whether or not you want to sort of give them messages or not. Again, if you're just practicing, be honest with people. Say, look, I'm only practicing. Please don't take this in offense, or, please, I'm only just sort of trying to get me bearings here, da-di-da-di-da, X, Y, and Z, and just give what you've got. It may be beneficial, which is just what I've just been quite nicely talking there about. Learn to be trusting in your intelligence. Learn to be trusting in what you're saying. And as long as you're giving it in a very kind and very generous and a very honest way, that's a lot of things. Always be honest with your mediumship. Be honest with your communication. If you didn't know who the person is you've got with you, say you don't know who it is. If you don't know what they pass with, say you don't know what they pass with. People will forgive you for not getting it right. People won't forgive you for lying. Bear them things in mind, all right? People always value honesty and integrity over trying to fill in full of nonsense. I hope that helps you a little bit there, Terry. Practice, try it out, have a go at it. I haven't seen some of my family in over 10 years. Right, but you must still have a connection there, Terry, otherwise the intelligence wouldn't be coming in. So check that one out, all right? My advice, give it a whirl. Approach them, ask them. Look, I'm, training medium. I believe I have some messages here from the spirit world. Would you be interested in taking these messages? Give people a choice. People like a choice, Terry. Different can ramming out there and ramming like a load, like writing a load of nonsense. You know what I mean? And because people go, I don't like that. Don't do that. Give a choice. People will love you more for that. So I'll help you out. Let me know how you get on, Terry. All right. Jasmine B saying hi, hello, my darling. I'll get ringing in my ears. What's the best technique to tune in? Me personally, for me, when I get that ringing in my ears, it's normally if my guide is trying to get my attention, because sometimes I don't always see him, so sometimes it just ring my ears. Other times it's the spirit world's going a little too close there. Also, it can just be that there's different energies manipulating my mind or manipulating me in order for me to sort of get an understanding, because all energy has a frequency. So I hope you can understand that. So when we work with energy, all energy has a vibration. So every vibration moves differently. So for every person who doesn't see the spirit world in bigger forms, you may start seeing them as energy. What you could do is start, instead of seeing them, so that you wouldn't see them as people, but you'll be able to feel that energy, you'll be able to tune into it. So it's got a vibration. So the vibration might be of a mom, or a vibration of a dad, or a vibration of a particular grandma. Does that make sense? So Jasmine B, the best technique for me for tuning in is become observant. So when these ringings come in, be observant of the energy that's with you. You're storing energy into the mind, or knowledge into the mind there. So that could be really helpful doing your mediumship or taking your mediumship forward. So I hope that helps you a little bit there. Sarah's going. So good night, Sarah, darling. Angela, so I hope that's helped you a little bit there as well, Angela. Vicky Hill saying, thank you for sharing the beautiful insight. I had to go to work. Have a great day at work, darling. It's a pleasure to have you here. When you start now, should you sit with your guides once a bit? Right. So for me personally, as a newbie medium, I used to sit every day, and that was just because I felt was important for me. But everybody's different again here, so you may not be able to sit every day because you're busy work, whatever it may be. At least you want to be sitting at least 2 to 3 times a day. Make sure your intention for what you're sitting. And I know I did talk to Sarah. She's part of one of my Zoom classes. So for those who don't know about my Zoom classes, I do have some Zoom classes available via Zoom, obviously. Some on Pacific, some on Eastern. If you want to get in touch with them, the email address is running along the screen. It's also in the chat, but it's also in the doofer down there, the doofer down there. Anyway, in the description box below is the best way I can put it. So yes, for me personally, it's entirely up to you. Try and keep a bit of a routine. So maybe if you're sitting, maybe it's a Monday or a Wednesday and a Friday, same time. So maybe it's around about from 10 to 11. Try and keep it within them parameters, or at least keep it within the days, Sarah, would be really, really beneficial to you there. Jasmine B saying, I also see little flash of light, kind of like little flashing stars. Have you experienced this? Yes, Jasmine, I have. I've tried to figure it out. It's energy, my darling. So you're seeing energy. So sometimes people see flashes of light. Some people see like twinkly bits. Like as if like you're looking at the TV screen, but like how it gets that snowy, but it's actually like twinkly, like little twinkly lights. It's just energy, my darling. It's just the spirit world's energy, or it's just a manifestation of energy. So there's nothing at all to worry about there on that one, Jasmine. I say it quite frequently. More so when I've had a lot of energy work done. So for example, Reiki or spiritual healing, I'll see a lot more of that. So certainly catch on to that one. It may be beneficial, but it could also be that it could just be an energy or a change of energy. But yeah, it's just the way the spirit world or the energy is manipulating your mind in order for you to be able to pick it up, basically. Deb's saying, go now, Dan. Nice, darling, night. Terry's here. Thanks, Danielle, grateful for the event. No problem, Terry, at all. Angela's off as well, so night, Angela, and I'll catch you again, definitely. Any other questions, folks? Says, bye. Thanks, someday I want to sit with them and they would say anything now, but I think what I have to say, I'm going to say anything now. Yeah, sometimes just sit with the spirit world. You don't have to really be doing anything over there. Just sort of sit with them. Just enjoy the energy. You don't even have to be talking to them as such. Just sort of sit in the spiritual realms, enjoy the energy. Become aware of how that energy feels, that's just as important as talking to the guides is just sitting with the spirit world, getting a feel for that, understanding how that spiritual world feels very different to the human world. is really beneficial, especially if you're going to work psychically versus mediumistically. Learning to sit with the spirit world gives you a bigger understanding of their energy and how their energy feels versus the psychic energy. So yeah, that's just as important. Also, you can sort of just sit and become aware of just, different things within the spirit world, and how that spirit world really does feel a very loving place. Yeah, when I meditate, say I'm not a great lover of meditation, but I know a lot of people are, and I kind of knock it. Me personally, I think it's an opportunity for your conscious mind to run rampant. That's my personal opinion on that one. But that's just my opinion. For those who love to meditate, for me personally, sitting in the power is far more beneficial to against. Jasmine, it's not my knowledge, it's our knowledge. It doesn't belong to me, it belongs to everybody. That's how I look at it. I don't believe I'm any more knowledgeable than anybody else. I just believe it's part of the collective. It's an opportunity to be able to work with the collective to the best of its ability. But yeah, meditation for me, it's not really my cup of tea, like I've got to be honest. To get into sitting in the power. I used to go direct to people, but now my radar can be out. The connection is right, but it can be somewhere near. Yeah, and that's okay, Martin. For me personally, also, I was a direct medium, and I still am from time to time. Where once over, I used to nail it spot on. Now I seem to be more just in the parameters, which is a bit like what you're talking about. So for me personally, that also is giving you an opportunity to work your mediumship a little bit more, because obviously if you're nailing that direction all of the time, you're not gaining anything from it. So for me personally, at first I was very concerned about. I went to my people and I said, like, why is this? And what I got back was, is we're teaching you, we're learning you new skill sets, and I just go with that, Martin. So my advice to you, Martin, is go with it. Don't restrict it. Just allow it. There's something they're trying to teach you there, my darling. And for me personally, I quite like it. Once over, I didn't, but now I quite like it because it's like fitting the jigsaw puzzle together. Does that make sense? So like when I used to go direct all the time, it was like nail on, spot on. Where now I've got to sort of piece a bit more of the puzzle together. I've got to work a little bit harder. So I'm working a little bit more for that evidence. I'm having to look at different things in order to make sure that it's true, right, and accurate. And it's also helping to build your confidence as well. So it's helping you to trust again that you are right, in that we're just gonna sort of give it a little bit of a tweak here from time to time and see how you react, because you have to understand with every connection of mediumship that we do, especially platform, what we have to accept and understand is that when we're getting it right all the time, we're not learning anything. So when we're out there, maybe it's in that circle and we don't really know which one we want, we've got to sort of really push ourselves to learn a bit more. We've got to push ourselves to trust a little bit more in the spirit. We've got to trust ourselves, trust in the spirit world that they're going to get us exactly where we need. To me, it sounds to me like, Martin, they're just learning a new skill set, which is really great. And especially if you're out there sort of in the public domain or within the open circle parameters, then you're going to have to learn to be able to cope in them stressful situations. You've got to be able to cope. It's another way of learning to manage a crowd, which is really important when we're doing demonstrations of mediumship, because ultimately, if you're always nailing it, it could be that you are actually needing to be with the woman next door, and therefore you should really learn to work that communication there to the best of its ability. I think they're just teaching you, mate. That's my personal viewpoint. I could be wrong, Martin. Again, my advice to you would be go to the spirit world and ask them why it may be. Denise is saying, hi Danielle, all I want is my mum to come in my dreams. Any tips? So for me personally, one I can give you is that, before you go to bed, you push them thoughts up to the spirit world and you ask the spirit world to step forward and certainly help you out with connections to that. I will repeat that for a couple of days, see how you get on with that, Denise. If it doesn't happen, then we may need to take a look at something else there. All right, but I wish you the best of luck with it all. Sarah Louise has asked me to practice mediumship and make them aware you practice and gain confidence. Will I require insurance? Only as I'm a therapist. Right. Sarah's asking for insurance. So for me personally, I have insurance. I have public liability insurance, and I used to have another one which was business insurance. But obviously I don't sort of go out there in the public domain anymore. So for me personally, you only need insurance if you're doing private demonstrations of mediumship on a regular basis. So for example, floor events and pubs and clubs and that type of thing. Also, I have public liability because I have the public come to my house, which is for sitting work, that type of thing. The rest of it, training, all my training's done in SNU churches, or I hire SNU church halls from them, where they already have their own insurance upon that building. So for me, no, you only need public liability insurance if you're doing sitting work on the house, and you only need business insurance if you're out there in the general public working pubs and clubs, or you're training in a place that hasn't got them types of insurances. So I would certainly double check in that department. But again, I would you should have an accountant. You should if you're dealing it legitly like me. I mean, I have an accountant. I pay my taxes, my national insurance. Allen types of things. You should sort of double it, check in with the trade standards. I had trade standards come to see me a couple of years ago, connected to my business. I was actually told one of the best money mediums in the northeast of England. Hey, but yeah, certainly just check them out. I would certainly speak to your accountant if you've got one. A solicitor if you have a solicitor. Them types of things, and just double check them things and make sure that you're doing everything above the board there and there's no real issues. But personally, you'll only require insurance, I think, if you're doing public demonstrations in pubs and clubs, and you'll only need it if you are doing any kind of sitting work from the house. All right, so I hope that helps you out there a little bit. So listen, okay, thank you. No problem at all. Any other questions, my little chicken eggs? Or are we all done for the night? Everybody happy? Then we'll wrap it up. Okay, folks. So this evening, I want to thank you all for joining. Thanks for all your amazing questions. I'm so proud of you. Please do like and share the video. It really does help it with the algorithm. If you're interested in the courses and the classes and stuff that I run, please do sort of get in touch with the email address. It's run along the thing or within the description box. It is also in the comments box as well. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all them types of things. You know how it goes. Yes, I am therapist insurance. Not that I'm aware of, Sasha. Not that I'm aware of. I tell you what it is, hit me up an email. I'm sure I've got some old paperwork. I'll rake it out for you there. But not as far as I'm aware. But yeah, not for insurance, not for mediumship, spiritual is different. Well, yes and no. Hit me up an email. We'll certainly discuss and talk about it. All right, Martin, saying thanks so much. I'm going to say you need bother at all, Martin. You take care of yourself. Let me know how you get on with your mediumship. I'll be interested. All right. Have a for Zoom classes and all of that malarkey. Hit me up an email. We'll certainly chat further. Honestly, I can thank you all for tonight. It's been absolute blast. Thank you. Thank you for watching me. Thank you for hearing me out. I'm eternally grateful to you all, and I hope you've been able to take something from it. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Have a lovely evening, no matter what you're doing, and hopefully I'll see you all soon. Bye from me, Bye.